Okay, good evening and welcome to the October 28th meeting on the Florissant City Council. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if I can. All right, Madam Clerk, if you can please call the roll. I'm sorry.
Parson?
Present.
Siam? Harris? Manganelli? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth? O'Donnell? Pagano?
All right, we do have a quorum to proceed with the meeting this evening. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, additions to the meeting minutes and the executive meeting minutes of October the 14th and the special meeting minutes of October the 16th? All right, hearing none, Councilman Shildroth makes a motion to approve the minutes, seconded by Councilman Caputa. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, meeting minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is proclamations. Madam Clerk, if you can read the first proclamation.
Whereas Florissant, Missouri is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within an entire community when its individuals collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Florissant, Missouri is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas Florissant, Missouri is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. Whereas Florissant, Missouri acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America, and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2024. Now therefore, I, Timothy J. Lowry, Mayor of the City of Florissant, Missouri, and members of the Florissant City Council, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2024 to be Extra Mile Day, and urge each individual in the community to take time on this day not to only go the extra mile on his or own life, but to acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, communities, country, or world a better place.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Next, we have a proclamation recognizing November as Veterans and Military Families Month, which will be presented by Mayor Lowry. Can you please read the proclamation, Madam Clerk?
Whereas Missouri is home to approximately 400,000 veterans and their families, and whereas to be a veteran or a service member is to have endured and survived challenges most Americans will never know. To be the family of one of those proud patriots is to sacrifice more for our country than most Americans will ever give. Whereas in the month of November, our nation honors and the strength and sacrifices of our veterans and the current service members and their families, caregivers, and survivors. Whereas constant tours, deployments, and rotations are difficult for our military families, we marvel at the devotion of military families and their resilience to uproot lives every few years and to move to new communities. We honor the stalwart courage and resolve of veteran families caring for their loved ones when their service in uniform concludes. We grieve alongside families of the fallen who have lost their piece of their soul. And whereas during the National Veterans and Military Families Month, we pay homage to the unrelenting bravery and dedication of all who wear the uniform and the unwavering love and support of those who serve alongside them. Whereas we respect and acknowledge the daily sacrifices of veterans and military families and extraordinary contributions they make to the nation and to their communities. And whereas the City of Florissant calls upon all citizens to show their support for veterans and military families during the month of November. Now, therefore, I, Timothy J. Lowry, Mayor of the City of Florissant, do hereby recognize November 2024 as Veterans and Military Families Month in the City of Florissant and call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens.
veterans that are here with us tonight and their families step forward. We're honoring the veterans and their families here tonight. We'd like to present them with this proclamation and certainly the picture. Certainly appreciate all of the service that you guys have provided to the United States and our community, and certainly all of the sacrifices the families have endured and all these wonderful things. Of course, as everybody knows, Council President Robert Parson, he served in the United States Navy. Jeff Caputa served in the United States Marine Corps. And you want to tell us where you served, this young man?
I am representing the senior force, the Army. That is correct. When you lay the flags, you put the Army's flag first, then I kind of hate to say this, the Marines, and then the Navy, Air Force, and if the situation is right, it's the Coast Guard, and we also have now a Space Force that is in there. This is our senior Veteran of the Year for Florissant.
Harry Warsharp, I'm a 74 to 78, never served on a ship. I was in the Navy, but I was in now. I volunteered.
Walter, I want to give this to you because you certainly are the one that brought this idea forward for the city that make sure we recognized our veterans in November and certainly their families also. So we certainly appreciate you bringing that forward.
Thank you. And if I may, I want to thank the young lady sitting back here.
Just doing my job, sir.
She did my homework that I should have done when I started this. I was not aware that there was any national recognition of the veterans. I found out after she had told me about one of them. I went home and I found out that there's two of them. One of them is in May, and it's a little different. And then this, of course, in November is this. And I hope we, as a city, represent a situation that's going to start and spread throughout the rest of the remaining cities around to us and get to the state and the more nation. I had a little over 40 years of military service, and I didn't even know that such a thing existed. I'd like to get the ignition out.
We'll get working on it. Walter,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Did you get a picture yet? Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I looked it up.
I just wish we had more veterans here.
All right. The next item on the agenda is hearing from citizens. This is the time to speak to the council on any issue not necessarily on the agenda for 3 minutes. This is not a question and answer period. If you would like to speak to a council member or the mayor, please stay until after the meeting is over. If you are here to speak on a public hearing, please wait and speak when the public hearing is announced. Do we have any yellow cards? Nope. All right, so we do not have any hearings from citizens today. So the next item on the agenda is communications, of which there are none. The next item on the agenda is public hearings. We have public hearing number 2410034. Madam Clerk, if you can please read the public hearing notice.
In accordance with Section 405-135 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To amend B5 ordinance number 6134 as amended to allow for a carry-out bakery located at 2310 North Highway 67. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least five days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or email cityclerk@florissant.com.
All right. Is the petitioner present? If you can, please come forward, state your name and your city of residence.
Hello, everybody. Russell Clark, 1 Highfield Lane, Frontenac, Missouri.
All right, Mr. Clark,
Thank
if you
you.
can, please tell us a little bit about your project.
We are looking to come to Florissant up on North Lindbergh for our 9th bakery in St. Louis Kolache. We do fresh baked kolaches, which are basically deliciousness stuffed in a bun. If you've never had one before, we do savory, we do sweet, we do cinnamon rolls, coffee, milk juice, catering. We're open from 6 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, 7 days a week. So it'll just be a carry out only.
All right. Do we have any questions from the council? Okay. Mr. Cyan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir, for coming to Florissant. I just have a couple of questions. Just because I've been to this place once, there is a kolache place at Lindbergh and Schutz and Creve Coeur. Is that one of your places?
That was our first store.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just wanted to kind of see if that was the same thing. And
Yeah.
when are you looking at being completed and ready to open?
However fast we can get approval, we can start construction. So generally take about 60 days once we get approval. So we're anxious to get started. So it'll be our 3rd store on Lindbergh.
Okay, and by construction, you mean like an internal renovation of that commercial
yes, sir.
space?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to be sure, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Cyan. Councilman Egan.
You can pass on that, but welcome to Florissant. Thank you for coming.
Awesome. Appreciate it. We've looked forward to being here for a long time. So I think it's going to be a great place. This is like the mecca of dining up here on North Lindbergh.
Samples, you know.
I know, but they'd have been cold and stale, and I want to bring you guys fresh, good. We'll be practicing for a week or two, so you guys will eat well, huh?
You know where City Hall is.
I do.
All right. Is that all you have, Mr. Egan?
I do, thank you. More than enough.
All right. Doesn't look like we have anyone else coming forward. Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this public hearing? All right, seeing no further comments, Councilman Cyan moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilman Harris. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, this public hearing is closed. Thank you so much, Mr.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
All right, next we have public hearing number 2410035. Madam Clerk, can you please read the public hearing notice?
In accordance with Section 405-125 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to Marcos Aramillo, DBA Quick Lawns LLC, to allow for construction parking in a shared office space in the B3 Extensive Business District for the property located at 1145 North Lafayette. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or cityclerk@florissant.com.
Okay, is the petitioner present? If you can, please come forward, state your name and your city of residence.
Marcos Jaramillo, Florissant, Missouri. and Maria Hueriet, Florissant, Missouri.
All right, all right. Tell us about your project.
We have an accounting office house building, 1145 North Lafayette Street. We use it now as an accounting office there, and we have a lot of parking. So we want the opportunity to be able to park his lawn service business trucks and little trailers in there when he's not using them.
Okay. Trying to give someone an opportunity. I guess I can go first. How many vehicles are you expecting to park on that lot?
We're planning to have around 4 or 5 long parking lots, like double parking lots, just for that. And,
okay, so it's like the vehicle and the trailer
and
would
yes.
make up the one.
Yes.
The 2 parking spots
Yes.
at the same time.
Mhm,
Okay.
yes.
And you said did I hear you say 4 or how many?
we have 4 long spaces,
Okay.
and that's about what we need.
Okay. All right, I'm going to pass this on to Mr. O'Donnell. I believe this is in his ward.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Maria and Marcos. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So I just had, and maybe I'd just like to voice a few things to maybe so that everyone understands in the public hearing what's unique or what you have there. So with regard to the tax service, you own that building and that's your business. And you have a parking lot behind that, and then adjacent to that, almost as if it were an L shape, there is another part of the property that you own, and that's where you would be parking.
Yes, right on the L.
So the other thing that's unique about the property is that you have a shared driveway with the business next door. I believe that's the Abundant Lotus. So your parking lot is accessed, so both of your buildings are on Lafayette,
Yes.
but the 2 businesses are accessed by the common driveway, as it were, and yours is to the right and then behind and a little bit to the left, where their business or their parking lot is directly is to the left of their and behind their building.
Yes, that is right.
So, and forgive me if I don't understand this. Do you have some sort of a shared agreement with that access, where you both have ability to access your shared property?
No, like we don't consider a shared property, but it's like just that we don't have fences. So we if we go in or out, it could be that we can probably step on there, or they can step on ours, or their customers would.
Okay.
But
So,
we don't
'cause
have like some agreement or anything like that.
Okay, I understand. So I guess with the types of trucks, and I was up there last night, so I see that you had a couple of trailers already there and a couple of box trailers, I guess they are, and maybe 1 or 2 trucks that are already there. So additionally, and perhaps Mr. Parson asked that, is there going to be more than what's there now?
Not just, we're going to use whatever fit there on the L thing. And I think that would be enough for us.
Okay. So I guess the only other question is in terms of maneuverability. So I'm guessing when you access that shared driveway that you're on your side, and
Right.
that business and their customers would enter on their side.
On their
You
side,
may
yes.
overlap because there's really, like you said, there's a commonality there.
Yes.
So are you able to, for the most part, the types of, so what you're going to be bringing back there is more than, I'm guessing, the customers next door would be probably just a car that someone would be visiting their business. So obviously yours would be heavier, more concentrated weight. So are you able to access your side of the driveway with the size of the trucks and trailers that you'll be putting back there?
On our side, yes,
Okay.
we are.
So in terms of maneuverability then, is there difficulty to where you have to, for want of a better term, maneuver back and forth to try to angle into that back edge of the parking area?
No, we
So
have
you can-
no space in
You can
ours.
roll into your parking lot and then sufficient
Yes.
enough to back and bend into place
Yes.
without affecting the neighbor's property.
That's right.
Gotcha. Okay. And I do see that your lot is kind of up to date, and I don't know when you did it, but it looks very nice. And
Thank you.
And so in terms of what's stored in those, so are we talking lawnmowers and trimming equipment? So basically any kind of lawn service
Those will be inside the trailer.
inside of the trailers, okay.
They won't be outside.
And just for reference, so your business is the tax business and Marcos is the lawn business, and that this would be just not basing his business, and no business is going to take place
Inside.
there other than parking
than
the
parking.
equipment. I understand. Okay. Well, thank you for your help and understanding. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman O'Donnell. I have an additional question. What is the, I guess, the term of this agreement that you have for him to use your parking spaces?
We don't have any agreement. We both own the property.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think I missed that part of it.
We're husband and wife, and we own the property.
Okay,
together.
gotcha. I apologize. All right, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple follow-up questions. The lawn business, does that have a separate address?
We only use that one. We don't take customers inside the office, so we just go visit the properties. And when we register the business, we register at our home address.
I see. Okay, so there are no other vehicles parked
Anywhere
else. This
No.
is like where the parking is.
Yeah.
The trailers, are they usually daily in and out? All of them, or some of them there?
Some of them are in there. It depends what jobs we have, and one of them is almost always there.
Oh.
And then he takes the other ones during the day, in the morning, and he brings them in the night.
Okay. Are they all in working condition currently?
Yes.
And okay, and
Yes.
licensed and registered and all that.
Yes.
Okay. And for the trailers to get in there, you'd have to back them in, right? Would you have to back them and reverse them?
Yes.
Reverse the trailers.
Yes.
So when you do that, so you pull up and then in the street and then reverse it into the drive there.
We
Right.
go in from the street.
Yes.
And then we go up to our parking.
Okay.
And then back to our L
I
space.
see.
that
So
we
you
just
don't
use.
have to reverse it all the way up the driveway.
No.
I see. Okay. Thank you for answering questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. O'Donnell has some follow-up questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Maria, forgive me, a couple other questions. I was just thinking in terms of the time of day or the different days that you might be accessing or removing and then placing the vehicles back. Would that be 7 days, or would that be just certain days?
Like Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday?
Yes.
And what times of day? Is there any specific?
He comes in the morning, like at 8 in the morning, to take them out, what he needs. And then he bring them back like at 8 in the evening.
During the summer, sure. I understand. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Mr. Caputa.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are your work vehicles going to be seen from the street, or is there a privacy fence around where nobody from the street will see your equipment?
We don't have any fence in the front part where the driveway is, but everywhere else there's fences. On the sides
Thanks,
and
ma'am.
in the back.
Yes, because my only concern would be the general public seeing all your equipment sitting there, because I know we have other places that we have storage in the city to where they're required to have a privacy fence around it, so it's not accessible for the general public to see what they're parking in there. So that would be my only concern with this.
Yes, I can see, they can see if they sneak their head inside, but like the L-shaped parking is behind the other building. That's in
So all your equipment will be parked behind your
the
building,
house,
correct?
Behind the L part that we designated for that is behind the other office. That's not ours. And our office parking lot is behind our office.
Because I see on the plans, they have the one is a wood privacy fence and the other side is a chain link fence.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, the sugar fire side is not a wood fence.
Yeah, that would be my only concern, would be the chain link fence of everybody that could be seen from the street or from the other businesses. That would be my only concern. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Caputa. Do you have any other questions from the council? Does not look like it. All right, so before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this public hearing? All right, seeing no further comments, Councilman Manganelli moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilwoman Pagano. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? This public hearing is closed. Thank you both so much. Appreciate it. All right, next we have public hearing number 2410036. Madam Clerk, if you can, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you can, please read that.
If I may, with the mayor and the council's permission, I will put that plaque in the VFW hall where it'll get a lot of publicity and notices.
All right.
Any objections?
Oh, that's outstanding.
I thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you. All right, let's start this again. Public hearing number 2410036. Madam Clerk, can you please read the public hearing notice?
Florissant zoning code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit for Larry L. Flournoy, DBA RLRC U-Haul, to allow for an equipment rental business in the B3 Extensive Business District for the property located at 431 Dunn Road. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the City Clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or email cityclerk@florissantmo.com.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. It's my understanding that the petitioner is not present today because they're asking, or this matter is going back to planning and zoning. However, if there is anybody who is present that would like to speak on this public hearing, you do have that ability to do so now. All right, so seeing no comments on this, Councilman Shildroff moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilman O'Donnell. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? This public hearing is closed. All right, next we have public hearing number 2410037. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the public hearing notice.
Yes, sir. In accordance with Section 405-135 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024 at 7 p.m. on the following proposition. To amend B5 ordinance number 9001 to allow for a painted brick located at 8182 North Lindbergh for Undefeated Tribe Florissant, LLC, DBA Crunch Fitness. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the City Clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or email cityclerk@florissantmo.com.
All right, is the petitioner present? Mr. Regan, you have a question in regards to this public hearing? Okay, all right. All right, could you please state your name, your city of residence?
Yes, my name is Reed Traphagen, Austin, Texas.
Okay. Mr. Traphagen, if you can, please tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, so I'm representing Undefeated Tribe Crunch Fitness. We're a franchise group based out of Austin, Texas. We're one of the larger franchise groups and run a really great operation with Crunch Fitness. What we're petitioning today is bringing our brand to the city. Part of doing business is brand importance, and with that comes being able to brand our building so that we can build a reputation here in the St. Louis market. This is one of a few locations that we're building here in this St. Louis area, and just looking for consistency across our brand. Same as you would with like a McDonald's or a Starbucks and of that nature. We're a high-value, low-price gym model, so we're excited to bring affordable gym memberships to the community here.
Okay, all right. We do have a question from Councilman Egan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, welcome to Florissant. That facility will be in my ward, so I do have some questions. We're starting to get on the council, we're getting more of these painting requests. First of all, have you been by the facility, sir?
Yes, sir.
The brick right there is awesome. I was there yesterday. And I understand it's about brand with you guys. But
Correct.
The brick, and I noticed in the way that the ordinance is written, is that if we allow this painting and you terminate your lease, that you'll be responsible for restoring it back to its normal, the way it is today, correct?
Correct, but we have no intention of leaving.
We have, thank you. We have, we get these painting requests for bricks that start cutting up, and we kind of pull what little hair I have left out on them. I'm not about to approve some and not approve others. As a matter of fact, I think we have one directly across the street that is being painted today as well. So I guess I want to ensure, it's my understanding that staining is far more permanent. Have you considered a stain on this building instead of a paint?
We haven't considered a stain, just from the standpoint of the colors that we've been able to get with our paint are more aligned than what we've seen with stained brick.
Are all your facilities exactly the same right now?
Correct. So all of our facilities so far are, not all of them are brick buildings to existing brick buildings. Some are stucco or EIFS. We have stores in 3 different states right now. But all of them follow the same paint scheme with the light gray, dark gray, and the orange as an accent color. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is what we would be proposing.
I don't have any more questions, Mr. Person, right now.
All right. I'm sure if you can give us maybe a little bit more detail on what's in that rendering for the public.
Yeah, absolutely. So the facade area here would be a longboard material that we would put on top of the brick, and that would be a iron ore color, a dark gray. Our signage would go on top of it. The orange, we would do a EIFS or a longboard material, depending on planning and zoning, as the accent color. The light gray up here is the existing brick. This is actually a roof that's existing already. This area is not brick. It's a hardy board material that we would, again, be painting gray, and then the columns are also brick, and we would be planning to paint those. Along the side, there's an existing structure that's steel. We would be painting this area, the existing steel structure, the dark gray color, and then the existing brick, the light gray, and then, like I said, the hardy board material, we would be painting the medium gray.
Okay, all right. Councilman Caputa.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now you're going to be replacing all that green that's there now, correct? And moving the front entrance?
Correct. So this was the existing entrance was on the side of the building. We'd be relocating the front entrance.
Facing Lindbergh side,
Facing
correct,
Lindbergh.
instead of the industrial park side?
Correct, sir.
Now, are you going to eliminate them doors, or are you just still going to use them as access also?
No, they're not going to be
Emergency
access.
exits?
They'll be emergency exits. And this
Now-
was existing storefront here, so we would be infilling. There's a small landscaping shrub that's right in the middle. We would be infilling that to make room for the entrance. And this would be an entry and exit point for us.
Now, when Mr. Egan asked you about the stains, did you look into the stains of what colors they have out there now?
We've looked at stains before on previous projects and have always gone with paint.
Because I know in the ordinance it says that if you decide to close or nothing works out or whatever, you have to restore that that masonry brick and block, concrete block, the way it was before.
Which is why the paint would be better.
Yes, with a stain that's almost virtually impossible.
Correct.
It's a lot of paint. A lot of paint. Now, are you going to have any EFS system up there also?
The only EFS that we're proposing is
just
the
on your
orange,
columns,
just
correct?
on the columns.
All
correct.
your oranges is going to be your EFS.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Caputa. Councilman Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. So a couple follow-up questions. You said you've used paint on brick in other locations.
Yes, sir.
What type of paint do you use? Is it the type that allows the brick to breathe? I know there's different types of paint.
That would be a spec in our architectural drawings. It's a Sherwin-Williams based paint. We only use Sherwin-Williams on our projects, but in terms of the exact type of paint, I would have to...
Okay. I'd be interested to know that, just because I know that, having researched this recently, that there are paints that allow the brick to breathe, because the brick is just dried clay. And if it doesn't breathe, which is why you would use stain sometimes, then over years there's some deterioration that can happen with that. So regardless of whether you're there 10 years or however long you're there, there's some ongoing concern with how the brick holds up.
Yeah, we have buildings that have been painted for a long time and have not had any issues. I assume that our architects are specking out the correct. And again, through the planning and zoning department, we would make sure that aligns with what y'all's expectations are.
Okay. And I'm assuming you're leasing this space.
Yes, we're leasing
okay.
the space.
Have you talked to the plaza owner or developer about?
Yes, we have.
It's allowed within your lease.
Yes, it's allowable in the lease, depending on approval process as well.
I see. Okay. My one concern, like Mr. Egan said, is a really nice looking plaza. My concern is the continuity, because the appearance of that whole plaza is continuous, and I think that, to me, I don't know if I think it detracts from the entire plaza, like it's not a standalone building, right?
Right, but we also don't want to be associated with the buildings next to us directly. We want to make sure that people that are coming to Crunch know which part of the building is Crunch and which part of the building is the other tenants.
I see. I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Harris. Councilwoman Pagano.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Where are your other gyms located?
Yeah, Texas, Oklahoma, and St. Louis. Yeah.
Is there one in St. Louis now?
No, we have one right now going in Manchester.
Okay, and is that a previously owned brick building?
It is. It's a Best Buy.
It's a Best Buy.
Correct.
I'd have to see it. Can you give me an address?
It's it's the Best Buy in Manchester, right behind the Kohl's. It's part of the shopping center with the Petco and other tenants in that area. Sorry, I'm just not super familiar with St. Louis.
That's okay. I'm asking, and they gave you approval to paint the brick, and
we're going through a similar process. They're on very similar timelines.
Okay. So is there any way, and I agree with Councilman Harris and Egan over that brick and on that gym, I'm just wondering if there's another concept that you didn't have to paint the brick, because I really have trouble with the brick painting.
I understand.
I don't mind the sign. I'm looking at the sign, and if there was just another concept, and I'd be anxious to see what Manchester has to say, because West County's a little bit different and probably more stringent than we are. So,
again, we're just looking for continuity of the brand, just like other competitors, and really wanting to make sure that we're a staple in the community and people know where to come.
Are your other gyms in a strip like this one? I mean,
correct. We have multiple in different strip areas. We have some standalones as well, but a majority of them are part of centers.
Okay, but you said a lot of them weren't all brick like this one.
And they're a mix of, in Texas, some of the buildings are brick, existing brick, and some are EFIS or different materials, CMU block with an EFIS scratch coat.
All right, well, thank you. That's it.
I do have maybe a couple of questions. Ms. Pagano, she asked you the question that I was going to ask, but I don't think we really got an answer. What is going to be your contingency plan if the City Council decides not to approve the painting of this brick?
Yes. I mean, the contingency plan would be to, obviously we would have to keep the brick, but it would be a very similar layout. We would be painting the hardy board. We would want to keep the facade backing and the EFIS on the columns. But again, I think it detracts heavily from the brand and our what we're trying to build here.
Okay. But you'd still be able to put your sign in. Is there an option other than painting the columns, those orange columns? I'm assuming.
No, that's a brand standard for us.
Okay. All right. We have some more questions. Let's go with Councilman Manganelli.
Thank you, Mr. President. You kind of touched on it a little bit, and welcome, Mr. Trappett.
Thank you.
I myself, basically, for all intents and purposes, I'm a franchisee with my business, so I totally understand the continuity between locations and everything. But with my business, the logo is the big thing. That's the big identifier between my location and somebody else's. So there is some wiggle room, or to where things can be different from one building to the next. But I think the logo is the big identifier, and you definitely have a very good big logo to identify with.
I appreciate that. I think for
Go ahead.
I think for us, we know how difficult of a market St. Louis is. For example, Gold's leaving this existing, we're taking over this space from an existing Gold's, and just competing against other competitors in the market like Club Fitness and Planet Fitness. I think it's important for us to really try to build our brand identity here because we're new to market. And I think that's why we're so adamant about trying to bring as much of the brand into this area. Because of the stiff competition and wanting to be a lasting landmark here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Manganelli. Councilman Egan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your contingency plan, keeping the brick if we deny this request, but keeping the orange and the orange crunch sign, in my personal opinion, I think that the logo looks good up there against the dark. I don't know that I would like the orange against the brick that you have up there right now. That's just my opinion. But again, I want to remind the council that if, as we get these permits, I'm either going to vote for all the painting or none of the painting. I'm not going to pick and choose. If we're going to allow one person to paint, I think as a council, we need to allow everyone to paint, because it just isn't fair. And that's all I got. Thank you. Again, welcome to Florissant Ward 3.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Egan. Councilman Harris.
I just want to come back and express my support for the contingency plan. If there's a way to adjust it and come back, then I would be in favor of that. But I'm looking through. I went through on Google and I screenshotted all of the different locations that I could find. And the consistency is not there. I do see examples of what you described, the contingency plan, where the other brick is not painted in other places. And I don't know that may be not yours, not yours. And then I see blue logos and, orange logos, things like that. So as far as the franchise, overall, they're not requiring very specific franchising. This is your St. Louis brand that you're trying to build.
Not just St. Louis, but our group has the third highest number of franchise rights in Crunch. Crunch is an older brand, so that I'm sure there are some franchisees in the past, like the blue logo was an old logo for Crunch. But through brand standards and that kind of stuff, everyone should be updating to the new orange logo. But no, I understand other franchisees are potentially more lenient on this kind of stuff, but for us, it's a very big selling point and part of why our group has been so successful.
Thanks. I just want to be transparent with my support for
Yeah, absolutely.
another option. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Harris. Looks like we don't have any further questions. So at this time, before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this public hearing? All right, seeing no further comments, Councilman Harris moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilman Egan. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, this public hearing is closed. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't need to go back.
All right. So public hearing number 2410038. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the public hearing notice.
Yes, sir. In accordance with Section 405-135 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri, in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024, at 7 p.m. on the following proposition: to amend B5 ordinance number 9001 to allow for a wall sign over 100 square feet for the property located 8182 North Lindbergh, Crunch Fitness. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or email cityclerk@florissant1.com.
All right. So, Mr. Trapanga, if you can, I know I
It's
just
okay.
butchered your name. Can you explain this part of your project? I know it seems fairly simple, but
Yeah. 100 square feet is quite small for us. We're proposing a larger sign, especially with competing interests with the out parcel in front of us and the large trees in front of us. Just wanting to make sure that our brand is recognizable and viewable from the street.
okay. Anyone from the council have any questions about the signage? All right. So before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this public hearing? All right, seeing no comments, Councilman Egan moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilman Shildroff. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, this public hearing is closed. Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you all.
All right, next we have public hearing 2410039. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the public hearing notice.
Yes, sir. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Florissant will hold a public hearing on the proposed budget for the City of Florissant, including the general fund, general revenue fund, capital improvement fund, park improvement fund, street improvement fund, sewer lateral fund, property maintenance fund, court building fund, and public safety fund for the fiscal year beginning December 1, 2024, in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, October 28, 2024, at 7 p.m. All interested persons are invited to attend the public hearing and may present their views concerning the proposed budget. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or email kgoodwin@florissant.com.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Clerk. If our staff can please come forward. All right. If you can just please state your name for the public so everybody knows.
Absolutely.
Who you are.
Dr. Jennifer Brewer. I'm with the Finance Department of the City of Florissant. I'm the Director of the Finance Department. Sorry, looking at everybody.
All right, if you can, please explain public hearing.
So I just wanted to talk to you guys with regard to the budgets that we went over on October 12th on our Saturday meeting. And we talked extensively about the revenue and how the revenue has jumped significantly over the past from the actuals of 23 and the adopted budget of 24. The revenues have gone up. Right now we're looking at a revenue balance on page 1 of the fund summaries that everybody has that was given. And so at the bottom of page 1 we're looking at an overall revenue increase from our budget proposed last year of $46 million from $41 million. So our revenues have increased and our expenditures have relatively stayed the same. So I'm pretty proud of that. And currently the Public Works Department has increased their budget, which you have all received a memo on, that we are increasing the street projects to $1 million. And I know Todd had submitted this to everyone, and I was pretty impressed with the amount of streets that were going to be covered in this new proposed budget. And we were able to capture the amount of cost and keep the budget, the capital improvement budget. If you notice, it's the second chunk on the first in the summaries page. And we're still at a ending fund balance of $130,000 in the black. So we're doing very well. Okay. So, and the only changes that we made to the budget since the October 12th meeting were the ones that we already discussed and were already approved on top of this memo. That was the only thing that has changed.
All right, so we do need a motion to accept the change to the budget. Does anybody want to make a motion to that specific? Okay, motion by Councilman Caputa to add the change to the budget as being proposed, seconded by Councilwoman Pagano. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, that motion carried.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions in regards to what's being proposed here by the council? Councilman Shildroff.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. I had a general question about the budget that I forgot to ask at our meeting. Is that okay, Mr. President?
Go right ahead.
Do you know, if you don't know now, you could just email us. Do you know what the turnback is this year from last year's budget? I mean, that's the wrong phrase I'm using.
Are you asking what the general amount of money that's not going to be spent?
Correct.
Is going to be? I do not have that answer just yet. I'll probably be able to give you some sort of an answer within the next 2 months.
Okay.
As soon as all of the invoices and everything else are caught up
okay.
and with everything else. So,
okay.
And again, I plan on doing a monthly reporting to you guys, like I said I was going to do. And so at the end of October, after October's done, so probably somewhere in mid-November, I'll be able to get that information out to you guys. Okay. And as close as I can get, I will give that to you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Shildroff. Okay. Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this public hearing? All right, seeing no further comments, Councilman Shildroff moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Councilman O'Donnell. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, this public hearing is now closed. Thank you so much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is old business. The first item is bills for second reading. Councilman, okay, we have bill number 10009. Councilman Siam moves for a second reading, seconded by myself. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. I'm sorry. Councilman Harris, I'm sorry.
So I had a follow-up question for the petitioner. If would I be able to suspend the rules and invite the petitioner forward?
If you make the motion.
I would motion to suspend the rules and invite the petitioner forward.
All right. We have a motion by Councilman Harris to suspend the rules and invite the petitioner forward for further inquiry, seconded by Councilman Egan. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The ayes have it. Sir, if you can, please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The last time you were here when we were discussing...
I'm sorry to cut you off, Mr. Harris. Can you please state your name for...
Sure. My name is Michael Tolles, T-O-L-L-E-S. I'm the attorney for Florissant Investments, LLC, address 8001 Forsyth Avenue, Suite 1500, Clayton, Missouri.
Welcome,
thank you.
Mr. Tullis.
Thank you.
Quick question. We had a petitioner earlier in the meeting, the Kolache Factory, and I believe that's the same building that you're representing.
That is adjacent to that building, yes, I believe. Yeah. It's a different address, I think.
Different address, but same building, not impacted by this bill. It's a different bill, not the same. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making. I was just trying to see if it was related or not. I don't think that it is, but I wanted to be clear that this doesn't impact that business.
No.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, it won't have any impact on that.
Thank you. That's my question. Appreciate your clarification.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
All right. That's all you have? Okay. All right, thank you. So, Councilman Cyan, let's move on here. So, Councilman Cyan moves for a second reading, seconded by myself. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the bill for a second time.
Ordinance authorizing an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6134 to allow for permitted uses in a B3 and special uses by amendment to the B5 located 2300, 2323, and 2330 North Highway 67.
All right. Councilman. Okay. Councilman Cyan moves for a third reading, seconded by myself. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance authorizing amendment to B5 ordinance number 6134 to allow for permitted uses in B3 and special uses by amendment to B5 located 2300, 2323, and 2330 North Highway 67.
Okay, before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this bill? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, if you can, please poll the council.
Yes, sir. Parson?
Yes.
Siam? Yes. Harris? Manganelli? No. Egan?
Yes.
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth? Yes. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Pagano? Motion passes.
Okay, bill number 10009 passes and becomes ordinance number 9010. Okay, the next item on the agenda is new business. The first item under new business is board appointments. Mayor has some appointments here this evening.
I think you have one. I wish to appoint Anthony Jones from Ward 1 to the Veterans Commission.
It's a motion to approve by Councilman Caputa, seconded by Councilman Manganelli. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
The appointment is made. Thank you, Mayor. We have Councilman Egan, I believe, has an appointment.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Danielle Berliner from Tahoe to the Parks Commission.
All right. Councilman Egan moves to appoint someone to
Danielle Berliner.
her to the commission, seconded by Councilman Shildroth. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you. The appointment is made.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is requests. Councilman Parson moves to approve the escrow release in the amount of $455,159.61 for Manners at Coke Park, Plat Number 1.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Egan. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The next item on the agenda is bills for first reading. We have bill number, all right, bill number 10011. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the bill.
An ordinance appropriating the Community Development Block Grant funds for the 2024 fiscal year for the City of Florissant.
Bill number 10012. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance authorizing amendment to B5 ordinance number 6134 as amended to allow for carryout bakery located at 2310 North Highway 67.
Bill number 10013. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit from Marcos Jaramillo, I don't know how to say that, DBA Quick Lawns LLC to allow for construction parking in shared office space in a B3 extensive business district for the property located at 1145 North Lafayette.
I hereby move to remove Bill number 10014, since that one is going back to planning and zoning, seconded by Councilman Childrath. All those in favor? All those opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have Bill number 10015. Madam Clerk, if you can, please read the bill.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 6555 as amended to allow for painted brick located at 8182 North Lindbergh for the undefeated tribe Florissant LLC, DBA Crunch Fitness.
All right, Bill number 10016. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance to amend B5 ordinance number 6555 as amended to allow for a wall sign over 100 feet for the property located at 8182 North Lindbergh, Crunch Fitness.
Bill number 10017. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance to approve the annual budget of the City of Florissant for the fiscal year beginning December 1, 2024 and ending on November 30th, 2025.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is council announcements. We have Councilman Childrath.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just would like to offer my condolences to the family of Lee Baranowski on his recent passing. Lee was a longtime member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and he took his job very seriously sitting on this dais, and he will be sorely missed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Childrath. We have Councilman Manganelli.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, would like to pass my condolences to the family of Christy Love. She was an icon in Ward 2 in the city of Florissant, and we lost her just recently. She was a champion of the environment and believed so strongly in her views that she owned hundreds of acres in Ward 2 just to keep them in their natural state. I only had the pleasure of meeting her once, but found her very engaging. She will be missed by many.
Thank you, Councilman Manganelli. Councilman Egan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is October 28th, 2024, and it is National First Responders Day. And I want to send a shout out to all the first responders, the police officers, the firefighters, and EMTs that work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to keep us safe. Thank you all very much.
All right. Just have a couple announcements myself. First of all, on November the 3rd at 1 p.m., the city, some of the city officials and some of the community have organized an event, a cleanup event, in memorial of Mr. Rick Alsap, who was the individual who was killed by an automobile while he was walking down the street of Waterford. The meeting time again is at 1 p.m. and that's going to be at the parking lot at McClure North if anybody would like to participate. Additionally, Ward number 8, which is my ward, and Ward number 9, we're having a joint ward meeting on November the 7th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be at the James J. Egan Center. Please be prompt because we're going to leave promptly. All right. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Additionally, I'd like to thank all of our first responders for everything that they do to keep our community safe, and certainly thank you, Mr. Egan, for your service in law enforcement. Just a couple other things. Our Veterans Day Parade is going to be November the 10th at 1 o'clock. It's going to start at Banger Park. It'll end at the VFW post, where we'll have the Veteran of the Year ceremony. As was mentioned earlier today, our Veteran of the Year is Ron Smith, who was here tonight, and that'll be held at the VFW post. And on November 30th, 2024, we'll have Miracle on St. Francis Street. It should be a great day, a lot of music, vendors, food, drink, crafts, a Christmas market, Santa's workshop, we'll have a parade, tablescapes at the shrine, tree lighting ceremony around 6 o'clock, and much more. So please come out and enjoy and celebrate the beginning of the Christmas holidays. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Mayor. The next regular meeting for the City Council will be on Monday, November the 11th. Councilwoman Pagano moves to adjourn this regular meeting, seconded by Councilman Siam. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, this meeting is adjourned.